Hello everyone, I hope you're hearing me. Welcome to We Touch One Heart Foundation, our first, no not first, but our first Endo Live for this year. You know, March is celebrated as Endometriosis Awareness Month, and we are really going to be touching on what endometriosis is, and our guest tonight will be Mrs. Ramona Spence Riley, and she is a womb wellness specialist who, I'm just taking some time to welcome our guest. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, to taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with us to hear about what it is that endometriosis is, and the different challenges that persons who are living with endometriosis have to really live with. So we're going to be speaking about it later on when Mrs. Riley joins us. And in the interim, I'll just tell you a little bit about We Touch One Heart Foundation. It is a foundation that is based in Portland. It's founded by Miss Shanique Rogers and CEO Mr. Skirvin, and they have been doing marvelous things in the Portland communities. We have done different outreach programs, from feeding persons on the street to donating different items to the Poor Relief Foundation, and we continue to give back to the communities in Portland. You don't need to be living in Portland to join the foundation, but you can also be a member. There's a link on our page that you can click to sign up to become a member of the foundation, because volunteerism, it is always good to give back, and it is more blessed to give than to receive, you understand? So we continue to give our service because it's service above self, and we want to be the change that we want to see in society, and the change starts with us. So it's just a foundation who caters to giving back to society and to use the little resources that we have to make others feel comfortable and to live. My apologies. So I'm seeing now that Mrs. Riley has joined us. I will say we have been partnering with her since 2 years. It's at 2 years or 3 years now, and it has been such a important topic that we continue to speak about and continue to make persons aware of this condition, because there are so many persons in Jamaica living with endometriosis, so many persons who are still unaware that they have the condition and living with it. So we want to just continue to spread light and to let these persons know that we are with them, we continue to support them, and we continue to, our hearts are with them. So we do everything possible to assist these persons. I'm sorry for the noise in my background. Oh my God. So we're going to get right down into it, and we're going to discuss everything endometriosis. Whoa, I don't like this. I don't like this for me at all. Alright, so I'm going to ask Mrs. Riley just to request to join our live so we can add you. And as I said before, she is a womb specialist, and she has been doing this for a number of years now. And she specializes mainly in the female reproductive system. She has her own page at Cosmic Woman, and you can go and check her out. You can ask her whatever question you need to ask her after the live. If you know a person who is living with endometriosis or other condition of the womb, then you can also make that link between Mrs. Riley and those individuals. I just want to say hello to everyone who's joining. I'm seeing some familiar names from our foundation, all the members who have joined us. Thank you for being here, and I do hope that whatever it is that you garner tonight, that you will also share it with your community, share it with other persons, because you'll never know who this information can reach and who can be very beneficial to. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you
Blessings.
doing?
I'm well, goddess. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you so
Can you
much.
hear
And
me?
it's
Am I loud? Do I sound loud?
yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I am hearing
Okay.
you. I'm hearing
How
you.
are you
It's
today?
good to
Or
have you
tonight?
again. It's, I'm a little bit, I just came in and I'm just trying to get everything in place for the live and to be ready. So, yes, I'm a little bit settled, but I'm a little bit settled now, but I'm doing great. How are you? How
Awesome.
have, have
I'm
things
good.
been?
Things have been good. Busy, crazy busy. Restructuring some things also, which has me very busy. Cosmic Woman is trying to, or not trying, but we're in the process of creating different coursework and certifying different women or men in different types of things. If it's consulting, womb wellness, doula. So we're working on that and a lot of master classes. So there's a lot of like background um, stuff that's keeping me busy, but no complaints. And then of course the kids, they keep me busy too. So that's like
Well,
a whole other situation.
I totally understand, and I understand the situation. And busy is good. It's good busy, right? It's
Yes,
good
it
busy,
is. It is. It's
right?
growth and development. So I can't knock it.
Right, right. That's good. That's good. And tonight I would have introduced you in previous lives, but tonight I just want you to share your story with the persons who are watching because I would have said, before prior or previous lives would have introduced it, tell about the little that we know about you and what you have been doing, but I want persons to know, to hear it from you tonight. Who is Mrs. Ramona Spence Riley and what has your journey been like?
Oh wow. Do we have all night? No, I'm joking. Um, yes, I am a womb wellness specialist, owner of Cosmic Woman. And before Cosmic Woman or the birth of Cosmic Woman, I was just a stay-at-home mom with my two boys. I would say the journey from then to now has been amazing. It's really been a beautiful journey of growth and development, and really just learning things and understanding this universe more than I even knew was out there and that I was capable of doing. When I was 29. I was diagnosed with a condition called endometriosis. And this condition affects your uterus, inside the uterus, whereas endometriosis affects the outside and the lining of the uterus. Endometriosis was all about inside the uterus. And it really played havoc on my uterus. There was a lot of bleeding and a lot of pain, may it be through sex, may it be during my period or even during ovulation. I mean, I
Mhm.
was constantly in pain on a regular basis every single day of my life and had no idea that I had this condition. I guess similar to a lot of women that suffer from not just that or many other diseases or conditions, you really don't know. It starts to become your
Right.
norm, and you just think, okay,
Right.
well, this is normal. This is
Right.
just me now.
Right.
So when I turned 29, I was diagnosed with this condition, and the option was a hysterectomy. And for me, it was really hard to accept the fact that I'm going to have to remove my uterus. And it was going to be a partial hysterectomy. I would have kept all the other reproductive organs. But it was really hard for me to accept that this was my reality, and that I would
Mm.
have to be on medication forever until it is that my body would be going through menopause, or I was at that stage for menopause to begin. And so I searched for different ways of how I could fix that, how I could heal my body. And I came to the conclusion that my food needed to be my medicine. And I am a foodie. I still am a foodie. Don't get me wrong. I love my food. So at first it was a little difficult to kind of get into that and do that transition.
To
But
make the
I think
adjustment.
Yeah, of course. But I think because of the fear that I had never had surgery before in general. And then removing such a major organ, female organ, was also like devastating. So
That's
I
right.
just put my big girl panties on and said, you know what, forget this. I'm going to do this. I have to do this. Like, I have to try something. So in changing my diet, I ended up changing my diet, coming off of all meats. I eat fish every so often, shrimp every so often, but dairy, the chicken, the beef, the pork, all of those types of things. Change the type of oil that I use to cook with. Started to really get into herbs because I mean, at this time I was living in South Carolina, but being a Jamaican, you only really hear about like
True,
peppermint
true to your
and
roots.
ginger and fever grass, aka lemongrass. You know, you don't really hear
The
about
root,
all of these other
right? The
things,
bush
right?
tea.
Nowadays we are hearing, people talk about like dog blood and that kind of thing, but during that time, that was not something that was just there out in the open, in terms of information. And so I went to a herbalist and he told me about red raspberry. And I was like, red raspberry, hmm. And I did my research on it and I started taking it. I drank it every single day, all day. I
And that's the
drank it.
plants we have in Jamaica.
It's a plant that's
That's
grown
it.
here. It's a herb that's grown in Jamaica. Yes. Um, I drank it as an iced tea. I drank it as a hot tea. I had it even in capsules. I was just living on red raspberry, and red raspberry is really, really good for your uterus. So any type of uterus issue, it could be something as simple as your period, or could be something as complex as endometriosis or adenomyosis, right? So with doing that for about 2.5 months, I found out that I was pregnant. And I remember my OBGYN telling me, you will be able to get pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that you're going to always have a miscarriage, which is what had led me to realize that I had now
You
this
had the
condition,
condition,
right?
right?
So, of course, I was like stressed out, right? I was like, shh, I gotta go through this again. And I went to the OBGYN, for them to do like the ultrasound and blah, blah, blah. And when I went, there was no sign of the adenomyosis. There was no sign whatsoever. My uterus was
Whoa,
healthy. My uterus was
whoa.
good. The lining, everything. Baby was healthy. Heartbeat was going. She jumping and bouncing,
That's
bouncing
a
all over the
fantastic
place,
news.
which she still is, by the way. She's still bouncing off the walls. And so I couldn't believe it, but I was so grateful, like I remember making the call to my parents, and being like, oh my God, I don't have to do this hysterectomy, because they were really on me to do it. They're like, listen,
Right.
we've seen you suffer. It's not worth it. You already have 2 boys. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, just do it. Keep it moving.
Just get it over with,
Yeah,
right?
and just have a quality of life. Anyway, so I got pregnant with her. And during the pregnancy, I decided that since I started this journey from this holistic point of view, I really wanted to stay there. Like, I felt like I needed to stay in this holistic world. So the sound therapy that I was using to heal myself, the color therapy I was using to heal myself, herbs, my food, my diet, I really continued a lot of that during the pregnancy. I also knew that I didn't want to go to the hospital this time. I did the hospital twice with my boys, and I said to myself, no, I want to have my baby at my house.
Whoa.
No, yeah, I had the boys natural too, but I want to have the
Okay.
baby either at my house or at a birth center or something. I'm not going to the hospital. So I found some midwives that had a birth center in South Carolina, and we decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. When I went into labor, it was so funny. That morning I went to get acupuncture done because I was like a day over my due date, right? And not that that's a problem. I don't ever think that women, just because you're at your due date, means that you should be having the baby on your due date.
On the due
But
date,
yeah,
right?
I think that's a myth that we're told. Anyway, so I ended up going to the acupuncturist, and the acupuncturist is really good for you when you're like towards the end of your pregnancy, right? It really helps the once you go into labor for everything to just like flow a little bit easier, right? And it removes a lot of like blockages and stuff like that. So I did that. I went there in the morning, did acupuncture, left there, went and had some. I remember wanting chicken wings that day, which was odd because I wasn't really eating chicken. And I had like hot buffalo, extra spicy chicken wings sitting there with my mom, left, went to the house and just like went to sleep. Like I literally just went to sleep and I slept like the whole afternoon into the night. And I remember waking up at about 11. And like Braxton Hicks woke me up, or at least I thought it was Braxton Hicks, which are, you know, like they're like contractions that you have during your pregnancy, but it is not like in labor, right? Anyway, so I thought that's what it was. And I started to like time, you know, my contractions and all that. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is it. And the pain just like jumped on me. Rewind a little bit to during my pregnancy with her. I decided to do a course called Hypnobirthing. And, you know, it was a birth course like you would have Lamaze or something like that, right? But Hypnobirthing is about really putting your body in a meditative state. So that once you are delivering your baby or birthing your baby, you don't feel as much pain, right? Because you're using so much oxygen with the breath, and you are relaxing your body through the meditation. You don't really feel the pain. Well, I didn't know if that was going to work or not work, but I was planning to try it because I knew that I wasn't going to get the epidural or anything like that. So when I realized that, okay, this is it, the pain is here, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I called my husband because he wasn't home yet. And I called my midwife and I was like, listen, I'm in labor and the pain is killing me. I don't think I can do this. I need to go to the hospital. I'm going to the hospital. And she was like, no, don't go to the hospital. Just come here first. And if it's still that bad, then we'll all go to the hospital with you. And I was like, okay, cool. So I jumped in my SUV in the back seat. My husband went in the front seat, of course, to drive. I lied down. And I just started doing the stuff I learned at Hypnobirthing, you know, the type of breathing that I need to do and really just relaxing myself. Of course, after a while, you know, I started to get really relaxed. And my husband thought I fell asleep. He thought I was sleeping in the back, you know, and because I had fainted once or twice during pregnancies before, he was really trying to like wake me up to make sure, Rotted, I hope it's not, you know, faint, she got faint out back there, right? So we're on the highway, right, in South Carolina, we're on the highway and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, my water just broke. And my water had never broken like that before. Every other time, the midwife has always broken my water. So he was like, what I must do? And I was like, just drive, man, just drive. So the water broke and I'm still there doing my breathing and, you know, feeling all relaxed and chilled. And then I realized that she was crowning. Like I knew what that felt like. She was crowning and I didn't lift my legs up. I didn't do anything. I still had my pants on. It was a really big sweatpants, right? Because it was like 40 degrees, right? Felt like 25, but it was like 40 degrees at the time because this was like November. And I just relaxed. And I birthed her in my pants, right? In my pants, took her out of my pants, put her on my breast. Whoa. And I was like, honey, she's here. And he was like, what do you mean? And this is like when we're just coming off the highway now. He's like, what? Anyway, so the birth center and the highway is like 2 minutes away from the birth center is like 2 minutes away from the exit on the highway. So he pulls in. Of course, my midwife is outside waiting on me with a wheelchair. My doula is out there waiting on me. I wanted a water birth, and so the water is set and it's hot and it's ready for me. And my midwife opens the door to help me out. And as she opens the door, she sees like me lying down, ray gun sucking on my breast. And she was like, what the hell is this going on right now? She was like, yo, only you, this would only happen to you, right? So she came in the SUV and, you know, she was just checking Reagan, checking me, making sure whatever, but the placenta was still in. And my plan was to leave Reagan connected to the placenta. That's called a lotus birth. and I wanted to like leave her connected to it until it naturally fell off, which usually takes about 7 days or so, right? Because of the temperature, because we wanted to make sure she was okay and everything was good. I decided, okay, let's just cut the umbilical cord then, whatever, and keep it moving. So we did. She was fine. I was fine. Everything was good. And so that was another aspect that was birth, not just her, but in terms of really what I wanted to do and what I thought my purpose was here. So going through the endometriosis and healing myself from that, going through this prenatal holistic life, delivering Reagan by myself, all of these things had opened me up to this reproductive world, and that's where it sat. So Cosmic Woman, yeah, that's what started it all, right? So that is really what Cosmic Woman is. It is anything reproductive. We don't just deal with women. We actually deal with men as well. But women are definitely our larger clients, by sure.
Thank you for
right?
pointing that out. Thank you for pointing that out. Because when you came on, you said it, but then I was always saying female reproductive system. But thank you so much for pointing that out, that you really do deal with gentlemen as well.
Yes.
I have listened to your story, and oh my God, it just reminds me that there is still hope. There is still hope, and it's good that you did not give up. You didn't give up on yourself, and you although there were the recommendation to do the surgery, you kept that, you just kept pulling on. You were hanging onto that little thread that says, there's a possibility that this can be turned another way, and you made the necessary adjustment to your diet and everything that you needed to do, and you went through the entire process, and look at it today. Oh my God, you not
awesome.
only gave birth to your third child, but also you gave birth to your business, which is doing excellently today and helping so many persons across the world, because I am understanding that it's not only Jamaican based, but you help persons in the UK, Canada, and the USA. So
yeah,
this is just
awesome. It's all over. Awesome. It's all over, and I'm really grateful for that too. The fact that it's not limited. So we have clients in China, we have clients in Dubai, we have clients in Asia, we have clients in Europe, and of course US, Canada, Caribbean. And I'm really, really grateful that we can reach all of those different areas. Everybody deserves healing. You know what I mean?
That's right. And no, I want you to touch on a little about endometriosis. You mentioned that it has to do with the outer liners of the uterus, and I want you to help persons to understand more about it. That it's really, with some persons would feel pain, as you said. You were just there saying, oh yes, it's just normal, and when you seek medical attention, that's when you realize that it's more than just pain. So I want you to touch a little bit now on what endometriosis is, and possibly the symptoms that persons experience while going through it.
Okay, so endometriosis is the lining of the uterus that ends up creating like scar tissue. Okay. Now, periods in themselves are not supposed to be painful. Anybody that listens to me will always hear me say periods are supposed to be healthy and happy and painless and symptomless. And of course, when it comes to endometriosis, it is the complete opposite, right? So the uterine lining itself sheds when it is that we're having our period, right? And that is supposed to happen. But with endometriosis, the lining actually starts to create this type of scar tissue-like thing that starts to spread throughout the reproductive system. So you find that a lot of women that suffer from endometriosis, the scar tissue is now connected to different organs in the body, maybe in the digestive system, like the bowels or something like that, or further, or even in the reproductive system, like your fallopian tubes or even your ovaries, right? There is a lot of pain, okay? If you suffer from endo, you have pain. I've never met someone that has endometriosis unless it's maybe a stage 1 type of endo, where they don't have pain. So the pain is everywhere or can be everywhere. The pain
Can I
can be
interject a
in,
little?
sure.
You said stage 1 is, I didn't know there
They're
were
like,
stages to.
yeah, they're like 4 stages, just like cancer. They're
Oh,
like four
really?
stages, right? And of
So,
course, the higher you get is the more painful it's gonna be.
so can you, is it definite that you're going to get, if I'm at stage 1, I'm going to get to stage 4? It's definite?
No, it's not. It just depends on what you're doing. Are you treating yourself? Are you watching maybe what you eat? Are you doing the necessary things that you need to do to keep it at stage 1? Because you
Okay.
having stage 1 endo is almost like you don't really have endo. You know what I mean? It's like it's not really there. You're not really suffering. So all of my clients that will have stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 endo, my goal is always to get them to a stage 1, to where there might be a little endo, but you wouldn't even know because I'm walking around living my life, living my best life, right? So there
Yeah.
are different stages. And as the stages go up, the pain and the other symptoms also will increase.
Okay.
So when we
So
talk about pain, sorry, go ahead.
I was just wondering, how is it that I would know if I'm at a stage 1? Because my period would seem normal, the pain would seem normal to me, but you know, how is it that someone can tell that they're at a stage 1?
Okay, so when it comes to endo, there's only one way that they can tell and diagnose you for sure that you have endometriosis, okay? And that is from doing a laparoscopy, all right? That is like a little minor surgery that you do, an outpatient type of surgery, and they use this camera thing and they push it in and they look around. And in looking around, they can then see the scar tissue that is spreading wherever. And when they do that, they'll be able to tell you, or they'll be able to realize, okay, well, it's stage 2 she have, or it's stage 4 she have. And when you have stage 4, it is usually all over the place, right? So it's not just in your reproductive system. It gone past your bowels, it gone all kind of place. Some people it gone up in a them collapse one lung, all kind of madness, right? So it really just depends on the stage. But for you to know for a definite if you have endometriosis, you'd have to do a laparoscopy, right? Now, with endometriosis, in terms of the symptoms, as I was saying, pain is definitely one of the main things, right? And the pain is not just like in your abdomen. You have pain in your knee,
All over.
you have pain in your joints, you have pain in your back, you have pain
Whoa.
everywhere, right? Pain can be any and everywhere, all your eyelash, everything, right? So pain is one of those huge things to let us know that something is up,
Definitely
and that it
wrong.
could be endo. Bloating is also one of them. Now, of course, a lot of women that have their periods in general, they will suffer from bloating, right? But the
It's
bloating is
natural.
a different kind of bloating, right? This is like your stomach is extremely extended. It's extremely sore. It is not normal. So bloating is definitely included in that as well. Now, of course, in terms of pain, yes, headaches as well is something that can be a part of it. So it's almost like the symptoms for a normal period. And of course, I don't really subscribe, but for a normal period, but it is just extreme, right? It's just to another level. I would always say, yes, it is important for you to do your ultrasounds, your pelvic transvaginal ultrasounds, right? Which would be the doctor taking this thing and sticking it up your vagina, and it has a camera and it can look around to see what does your uterus look like, what does your bladder look like, what does all of these different things look like. But you can't really diagnose it with that. But if your endo is really bad, you can probably see something from that. Okay, so doing a transvaginal ultrasound is always going to be great also to do.
Thank you for that bit of information. Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. You mentioned in your journey dealing with your condition that you change your diet. How is it that persons who are living with endometriosis, what is it that you suggest that they include in their diet, and things that they need to get rid of this like right now? What are those
Okay,
type of foods?
so let's talk a little bit about the enemy foods, okay? Now remember, endometriosis is a estrogen-driven condition, which means your estrogen levels are extremely high, and that is one of the reasons why you're suffering from endometriosis. So you do not want to eat anything that has estrogen in it. I don't care if it's a little tips or a lot. You do not want to have that in your body because your body already has too much estrogen. We need to remove it. If you come to me and do a consultation and I find out you have endometriosis, one of the first things I want to do is eradicate the majority of that estrogen out of your body, okay? So anything with estrogen like soy, dairy, beef, chicken, any of those types of things you're going to want to remove, okay? Dairy is anything that comes from the cow, okay? You can find dairy in yogurt, you can find dairy in milk, all different type of milk, condensed milk, evac milk, regular milk, what you drink. All of those are going to have dairy in them. Now, of course, in 2022, we can definitely find alternatives in terms of those things that don't have dairy in them, right? So you can get a condensed milk that made out of coconut milk, and I love that I see that, right? You can get yogurt that doesn't have dairy in it and it's dairy free. So at least you have those options. Yes, those things are much more expensive than the other one.
That's what I was
So it is not necessarily, yeah, or just don't have it. Just don't have dairy. Just don't use condensed milk. Just don't use, those types of things instead of necessarily having to use an alternative, right? So, almond milk is really big right now, oat milk is really big right now. So those are alternatives that you can use instead of the cow's milk. I am not the biggest fan of almond milk, especially when we're talking about healing the body, but it definitely is better than a cow's milk, right? So oat milk would be a better option. Hemp milk would be a better option. But again, you have to kind of do what you can do, so those and what your pocket can do, because stressing out yourself financially is going to cause other issues as well, right? Which we don't need. So those are like the enemy foods. You want to really watch your digestive system. The healthier your digestive system is the healthier your reproductive system is going to be. So eating foods that are easier to digest are always going to be better. So the lighter foods, the greens, a lot of salads, even your beans, preferably not so much in the can, but you do what you have to do. We definitely want to make sure that we are keeping ourselves away from dairy, soy, and anything else that can have estrogen in it, right? When we talk about foods that we can eat, right? I don't want to stick too much on the negative. When we talk about things that we can eat, now, let's say, for example, you live in Jamaica. I mean, there is a abundant amount of fruits and vegetables that are available to us, right? Eat them, right? You can make a plate of food with 3 different types of vegetables on it, cooked 3 different types of ways. One can have curry in it, the other one can be like a stir fry, and the other one could be raw or whatever else, right? Don't feel like you have to have a meat on your plate for it to be a proper meal, okay? We are just programmed in that manner, but that does not need to be and should not be your reality, right? So eating a raw food diet will definitely help. Eating vegetables a lot is gonna help, right? You're making a soup, try don't put no meat in the soup. Try to just do other things, other vegetables or stuff like that in your soup, right? A lot of times women that suffer from endo, not all the time, but a lot of times weight gain is also there, okay? And that is again because the estrogen level is high, right? So doing soups and salads are a great idea. You know what I mean? You can do soups and salads 3-4 times for the week. Different type of soup, right? It can be a broth soup. It can be a soup that have yam in there and something in there and those types of things. What we also want to look at too are foods that are acidic, okay? Because that is going to create a lot of the bloating, or more of the bloating, more of the stressing out on the uterus, and of course, like stressing out like our joints and our muscles and all of those types of things.
Do you have
Foods that
examples of
have,
those type of foods?
yes. So for example, everybody love onion, right? You might not want to eat the onion, but
Not
you want
me.
to put it in your food for flavor your onion, right? Most people want to
Yes,
use onion
yes,
to flavor their foods, right?
that's true.
Yellow onion and white onion are extremely acidic. They are actually not good for you, okay? So if you are doing onion, you want the purple onion. That is where the health is, right? Jamaica, we have a thing about Irish potato and how Irish potato good for you because it come from the ground. Irish potato is also very acidic, okay? So
Whoa.
you are going to be bloating up yourself, right? The sweet
Oh my
potato, a
God.
much better option. The Irish potato, it's not your friend. And this is not just for endo. This is for any condition that you could have.
Overall,
This is if you just want to be a healthy or the healthiest version of yourself. Irish potato is not helping you to do so.
whoa.
Sorry if
Right.
I lick your
Yes.
brain.
Because I like Irish. I like Irish, but you know, I will definitely try to see if I can make some little adjustment to my diet. But overall, just for health reason, right? How is it? How important is it for us? You know, we always say eating
Hold on,
right
I'm not
comes
hearing
with.
you. Someone called me and messed up my volume.
Are you able to hear me now?
Oh, I hate when this happens. Go ahead.
You can hear me now?
So low. So low. Wait a second.
I hope you're all taking notes. Like, I'm kind of in awe because these are some of the things
Oh, I'm
that I
so
really like.
upset.
Are you hearing me? No?
All right, I'm gonna try one more thing.
Okay. For persons who are on, thank you so much for joining. And I do hope that you're learning from this
Okay,
live
God.
tonight about endometriosis. Good? So
Yes.
I was saying that we always hear that we're supposed to eat right, and with eating right comes exercising as well. So, persons living with endometriosis, how important is exercise for them? And what type of exercise do you recommend?
Okay, so exercise is very important in general, okay? Condition or no condition. The horrible thing about it with endo is that you're in pain even when you don't have a period. So you don't even want to exercise. Even if you wanted to, like you don't even have it in you to exercise, right? Because your joints hurting you, your stomach hurting you, you feel bloated, your head don't feel right. There's so many different things that are going on. I mean, you can't even lie down in peace, much less to go and do some cardio or something like that. So usually what I recommend is stretching, okay? Because we find that that helps with the circulatory system. We have to remember that when it comes to the period, there's always going to be this circulatory system aspect to it because it's having to do with blood, right? So being able to stretch, doing different stretches, yoga, yes, that's great. But I would recommend a gentle yoga, right? So that you are not necessarily using too much body weight to have to hold up yourself and do things. So stretching, everything. Breathing, everything, right? Starting to learn different breathing techniques. Don't underestimate inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, or inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Okay? You can use breath to heal almost anything that your body has. Just breath. Okay, so using breath techniques and stretching, while you're stretching the breath techniques, you'll find that that will definitely help with some of the symptoms that you might have. Now, let's say, for example, there's a day that you have a little bit more energy or you're not in that much pain. I will always recommend something like swimming. The reason why is because you're not holding up your body weight, right? The water is really helping you. So yes, you're working muscles. There's no doubt about that. Your arms are being worked, your legs are being worked, your abdomen is being worked. But at least you don't have the weight on your body, right? Which can, and on your joints as well. So swimming is something I would always recommend, 100%. If there is only one thing that you could do, I would say do swimming. But if it is that you feel good on that particular day, then yeah, do anything. Do whatever you want to do. Run, jump, skip. Flip. Whatever works, whatever you want to do that you're comfortable doing, do that. Just know that you got to be gentle with yourself. And I think we forget this. We're not taught this, especially us as women. We're never, even when we're young girls, we're never taught to be gentle with ourselves. We're always taught to be strong and put a little bit more effort into it and, take care of everybody else. But we never talk about ourselves, and we never talk about, being gentle with ourselves and loving on ourselves and nurturing ourselves. And so when you are suffering from endometriosis, one of the things you have to do is be gentle with yourself and nurture yourself, right? Because even when it comes to sex, women who suffer from endometriosis, sex sucks. It sucks. It's painful. Penetration sucks. Oral sex, that can probably keep, right? But then at the end of the day, how much does that please your partner? Because not every man gets off from, going down on a woman. Some of them don't even want to do it, right? So then how does that work? Or, he's done it to you, now you have to reciprocate. And when your belly is bloated and you're cramping out your life, now you have to be giving oral sex to a man. That's not fun either, because that doesn't feel comfortable. So sex in itself is really affected as well. And so when you're dating someone and you suffer from endo, the conversation has to be had. Listen, I suffer from endometriosis. This is what it is. These are the signs. This is how it affects me. And if that person cares about you, and this is a huge sign, this is a red flag. If that person really cares about you, they're going to try to help alleviate a lot of the pain or the stress or whatever that comes with this disease. And if it is the sex aspect, then there you go. Women also have to understand that as much as he might love you and cherish you and all of these different things, he also has needs as well. Okay. So I'm not saying because you have endometriosis, you should allow him to go and have sex with everybody or another woman or anything like that. I can't tell you that. I'm not saying to do that. What I'm saying is you also have to be aware that he also has needs, just like you have needs for him to be gentle, for him to be understanding. You also have to be understanding, and you guys just have to come together and, figure out what works best for that particular relationship. For me, when I was suffering from endometriosis, I had no problem if my husband went and did something. I would have never left him. Do I want to hear about it? Do I want to know about it? No. Is it something that we spoke about on a regular basis? No. But I knew that I made that decision in my own head because I knew that we were only having sex once a month. And we usually have sex 3 times a day, right? So for me to go from this extreme to now this extreme because of this condition, how does that affect him? Where is his head? How is he being affected, right? So it's just to come together and make a decision and just be honest and open with each other. Communication is always key in a relationship. Now, if it is that you are having pain during sex because you're suffering from endometriosis, vaginal steaming helps a lot. All of my endo clients that do vaginal steaming and then have sex are like, Jesus, where was this all my life? right? Really good, because the vaginal steaming really relaxes all of there, all of that, all of down there, especially if you're using herbs or oils that are relaxing ones, right? That take the stress off of the body. So I really, really recommend doing a vaginal steam throughout, maybe once a week, but definitely do a vaginal steam before you have sex. And unfortunately, yes, that means you have to go plan some mega have sex today, some mega steam today, and then have sex. But it's better than not having sex, because sex is great. Everybody should be having sex and, you know, orgasming and climbing the Himalayas and being like, oh, like we should be all, you know, we like should all be doing that.
Oh my God.
So steaming before having sex will definitely help any woman that suffers from endometriosis or has pain during penetration, even if she doesn't have endo.
Since we're on the topic of sex and partners, I want to ask, what about those persons who choose to use birth controls and they have the condition? How do you advise persons who are doing this?
Okay, so birth control is always going to be given as an option from an OBGYN, okay? Because they feel as if they can control the estrogen levels and the progesterone levels depending on the type of birth control that they're giving you, and that should kind of balance out everything. Sometimes it works for the first 2 months, the first 6 months, the first year, and then you realize it doesn't. And then the dosage has to go up, or you stop taking it because you realize this is not helping and all you're doing is putting on weight and you can't bother, right? It is not the fix. Birth control fixes nothing, okay? So I need every woman to understand, if you decide to do birth control, and this is a no judgment zone, this is a safe space, if you decide to do that, fine. But please know it is not going to fix the situation. Endo, if you do nothing about it, it only gets worse and worse, just like any other or most of other conditions, right? So changing your diet is going to be working better for you. Doing different treatments is going to be better for you. Stretching, doing all these other things, using different herbs are going to be a much better option than birth control. If we're talking about healing something, getting down to the root of the problem, yeah.
Natural. I saw someone ask in the comment section, which oils can you use to steam?
Okay, so at Cosmic Woman, we do 3 different steams, right? Or blends, I should say. We have the female nourisher, which is the biggest seller, right? Because that's the most popular, which is basically for any woman, right? Or any girl. We also have the postpartum vaginal steam, which we would use after you've had a baby. And we also have the oil blend, right? Now, when we talk about oils, I'm very funny, just like how I'm very funny when it comes to herbs, okay? I am anal as F about those things, right? So all the oils that I use in steaming, may be the blend that we sell here or a blend that I might make for myself. As a matter of fact, I need to steam tonight. Or just like, you know, any kind of blend. We want to make sure that those oils can be swallowed. You want A-grade essential oils, okay? So I use like some lavender, I use some like melaleuca, I use some like clary sage, I use chamomile, and a bunch of different ones, right? So you want to be able to make sure that they are A-grade oils. So for example, my oil blend, vaginal steam oil blend, is more expensive than the herb oil blend by far. Like it's more than double, right? And that's just because the oils are just like amazing high quality oils. So you don't ever want to put anything in your vagina or near your vagina that you can't swallow. That's just a tip, right? So if you guys are interested in any of the steaming, you can let us know. You can also come to our office and do steaming as well. I should be in Portland in 2 weeks, maybe less than 2 weeks. And I was thinking about maybe doing something and maybe doing like some treatments down there. So if I am, I'll let you know. So that's something that you can, promote on We Touch. But steaming is definitely something that you want to do if you're suffering from endo and or if you just have a vagina in period. It's great.
Okay. That's good. We talked about the treatments, and I want you to say, in your experience, do you normally meet persons who come in with endometriosis and they want to get pregnant, and the possibility was like, it's little, or it's not going to happen, but it actually happened? Do you have persons like this in your experience dealing with persons with endometriosis?
I would say 70% of my clients that come to me with endo want to get pregnant. And because endo is a uterus condition, pregnancy doesn't really happen, right? But it's not that it can happen, because I have a lot of clients that have endo and they got pregnant and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it happened. I've been trying 8 or 7 years to get pregnant, and I've been on your treatment for 2 months, 5 months, whatever. And now, I'm pregnant. So excited. You can definitely still get pregnant. There's definitely work that has to be done. You have to be patient. You do have those that, yes, after 2 months they get pregnant and they have endometriosis, but you can't always consider yourself to be that person, right? But I do want every woman to know that, yes, it is possible for you to get pregnant with endometriosis. What I will say though is, during the pregnancy, because there is not much treatment that we can really do while you're pregnant, most women, and your estrogen level rises when you're pregnant, especially if you're pregnant with a girl. You find that after the pregnancy, your endo is worse. So once you have given birth, you need to be on it again. You need to get back on your treatment. What do? You call me, you say, what's going on? What do I need to do? And if you're breastfeeding, of course, there are only certain things we can do or can't do either, right? But I will always push breastfeed your kids. But it is always really important to remember that because it is a hormonal issue, and because you're pregnant and your hormones are all over the place, that your endo can get worse. So be prepared for that.
That's quite a lot. Thank you so much. And as we wrap up, I want you to say to persons who have the condition, or persons who know persons who have the condition, and they want that level of support to know that they're not alone. How is it that these persons is there a support group that exists in Jamaica for women like these?
Okay, so I know that Base Jamaica is a support group. I am not sure how much they're doing right now. In terms of, yes, it's endometriosis month, so they're definitely doing things. But I mean, on a regular basis, I'm not really sure about that. What I can tell you is Cosmic Woman is going to be starting an endo support group. Right now we have a fertility support group. It's been going really well, and I've just wanted to do things little by little because of course I'm already like crazy busy, but we definitely want to be starting an endo support group before June, so we'll be putting that out there. We at Cosmic Woman are doing some things this month. We're doing a what do you call it, a sweepstakes, endometriosis sweepstakes, where we are choosing 2 women. Once you have emailed us your story, we're choosing 2 women to give free consultations to, and products. Okay, and discount on products. So some products you'll get for free and others you will get discounts on. Please look out for that. Follow us on Cosmic Woman so that you can see that someone you know that's suffering with endometriosis, or even if it's yourself that's suffering, that is some of the help that we're putting out there. We also have a master class at the end of the month, and this will be the last free master class that we're going to be having, right? So I really recommend that you guys get out there and come. It will be on Zoom, and I will be giving all the different types of information. It's going to last about 2 hours, so it's going to be a lot of information. Some of what I spoke about here today, but a lot more information on endo, how to live with endo, the good, the bad, and the in-between when it comes to endometriosis. So yeah, treatments, everything. So please follow us on Cosmic Woman so you can figure out when that is, when you see when that is, so that you can be a part of that. And as I said before, it is a free masterclass.
Whoa. And in this time and age, anything that is free, you have to up onto it. You cannot miss that opportunity.
Yes.
So if you know anyone, or if you have the condition, you can just reach out to Ramona. Her page is linked to this live, and we have shared on We Touch One Heart Foundation the page and linked her information on there. So if you don't know where to find her, you can always just go back to her page and you'll see her information. I want to thank you so much for making it here tonight to discuss such a topic that we don't, it is celebrated in March, but it's something that women live with for a lifetime. And as a result, we want to make more and more persons aware of this condition and that it exists. But there are treatments, there are things that can lessen the pain that you're going through, and possibly persons who want to get pregnant, and how it is that you deal with your sex life and your relationship, everything. All this information was given tonight, and there's so much more that you can learn about endometriosis and how it is that you can live with the condition and to live a life that, you can be happy. You don't have to be sad all the time, or yes, you don't have to fight it by yourself. Persons are here to help you and to support you. So Ramona, thank you so much for the nuggets that you have given us tonight. And we too can take away from this, because our diet, we need to change our diet sometimes, because sometimes we see the little things that is coming out on our bodies, and it's just as a result of not eating properly. So
and detoxing, detoxing for sure. That's something that we really don't talk enough about, and detoxing from a healthy standpoint, because sometimes we can really remove not just the bad but the good things also. And so we want to make sure that when we detox, we are detoxing in a healthy way. So that's something to really start with as well if you're suffering from endometriosis, detoxing. And you can send us a message about that. We have physical detoxing treatments that we do. We have oral detoxes that you can swallow. So follow the page. You'll see it all. Everything's there for you. But thank you so much for having me. I think this is like the second year we've been doing this together, and I love it. Thank you guys so much for at We Touch for really bringing the awareness when it comes to endometriosis. I am very grateful for you guys. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Base Jamaica can't do it alone. It has to be a collective. And I think at this time, especially in 2022, we have to realize that we have to support each other, and not just support each other when we're comfortable, but support each other on a whole, even if it makes someone uncomfortable. And so I'm grateful for you guys. Keep up the good work. Continue
so much.
With all of that. And we will get together. We will be doing more things in the future.
And please send us the information for your upcoming events so we can share them on our page. And people, all this information, it's going to be on our YouTube page, and you can always go there, access it, share it with persons who might find it very useful. So We Touch One Art Foundation on YouTube, and our page, We Touch One Art Foundation, and Cosmic Woman. you can always go there and see all the different events that are coming up and the different things that you offer for women who have different issues as well as men as well. So
And you can check the
good
Vagina Lady
information.
page too.
Right.
We have the Vagina Lady page, which is more my personal page. There's not as much information there, but you can definitely see things. Definitely, I post testimonials there. And so you can check there out too, or follow it, or whatever the case is. We also have a YouTube channel as well, Cosmic Woman. So check it out. Thanks again, guys, so much
Thank
for
you so
having
much for
me.
having us, and thank you so much for the information again. So
No
much that we
problem.
have
Have a
learned from
great
this.
rest of the night.
Likewise, thank you so much. And thank you
Thanks,
everyone for coming
Goddess.
out. Remember to follow our page, our YouTube channel is there, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and all those good stuff. It was really, 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 really lovely having you tonight. And big up all the We Touch One Art Foundation members. Oh my God, you're awesome. Have a good evening, everyone.